Hello and welcome to Africa in Demand, your gateway to everything Africa. I always like to make sure that people know that our guests are also incredible people that are speaking to something that they've not only studied but also experiences you've been to. So.
Most of the discord comes from just a misunderstanding.
Don't give excuse to things that you are supposed to be doing.
The truth is really finally starting to come out.
Africa in Demand, your gateway to everything Africa. Hello and welcome to Africa in Demand, your gateway to everything Africa. First and foremost, happy New Year. I am so excited to, be back with you guys. So last year, we were not as present because we were working on so many great projects, which we were lining up for this year. So hope you've all been staying safe with everything going on in the world. It just is so good to be back here speaking with people, even though it's different. We're not in our normal platform, but I'm excited to bring you special guests and talk about conversations of what's going on within the African community, the diaspora, and more. Now, one thing that you guys know I'm really big on is highlighting and promoting people that are just doing positive work in the community, bosses, that are, starting their own businesses and really just, living their best life and showcasing how we all have talent in us. And it's all about how we bring it out. So I'm excited to have my first guest. Now, this is not someone that is just like a guest that I found. I've known her for years, many years. And she is not only someone who is a boss, a business owner, a radio and TV personality. The list goes on, model, fashion, you name it. My first guest of 2022 is Sana Kibz. Now, Sana, welcome to Africa in Demand.
Oh my gosh, I finally made it.
We all made it.
To get on Africa in Demand with you, I have finally made it. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited for you to be here. Now, as I said earlier, Sana is someone that I've known for years. And I don't know if you remember, right, when we first met. Now, you could tell me if I'm correct, or if I'm not. I feel like the first time I met you was at New York Fashion Week years ago. I think we met in New York and then we re-met in DC. Am I right? Am I wrong?
I think it's the other way around. I could be wrong, but I believe that we first met when you approached me there was like a fashion event in DC, yes. And you approached me about Africa Fashion Week. Yes. And you said that you think that I'll be a good model for Africa Fashion Week and that I should keep in touch. And then I saw you again in New York and then we kind of revisited the conversation.
That makes sense. Yes. So that's a whole nother conversation. But yes, in the DMV, I was looking to start Africa Fashion Week because I was so in love with New York Fashion Week and all the things that it, highlighted. But as you know, our fashion is like untapped when it comes to, and now the world does definitely know. So Thank you, world, for putting Africa on the map fashion wise and showcasing our people who actually make it happen. But yes, I remember seeing you walk, and I don't even know that I knew that you were Nigerian. I think I was just like, man, that girl, because, as someone who's done modeling and years before you, right? I saw you and I was just like, this girl can strut a runway. And it was like you just knew, you were confident and you looked great, but the way you worked the runway, I was so impressed. I was like, I need to meet her. And I do remember that. And then I saw you in New York Fashion Week and I was like, of course she's running, working the runway in New York Fashion Week. Look at her. And then when I found out you were Nigerian, I was just like, queen, yes, even more so impressed.
Works out.
And it's like, look at this. So, obviously over the years, we've, grown to a friendship, you're like my little sisters. And more than that, I followed you. And let me just say, Sana, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by you and what you've done. We obviously in the last 2-3 years have lived under this whole COVID world, but there's certain people that I just follow and keep up with. And to see you go from, modeling and fashioning to doing things that I remember you saying you wanted to do, moving into radio, doing television, print, and then opening up your own line. I mean, you are a very impressive young lady. And I admire that because I think you're the type of person that other young girls and even, you know, people like myself can look up to and say, look at her doing what makes her happy. And it's not that you're just doing anything, you're doing things that matter to you. And I think there's a difference in just doing something that others are doing versus doing something that speaks to you, right? So I want to just say that, first of all, which is kudos to everything
Thank
that
you
you're
so
doing.
much. I always say this, and I'm a broken record at this point, but whenever someone tells me accolades, I'm like, but I haven't even done anything yet. Like I there's so much that I still feel like I haven't done. So when I do hear that, it makes me just take a second to just be grateful. And so I thank you for recognizing that and for telling me that, you know, you are proud of me. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, when we first met, you were into modeling. I know that was something that you always enjoyed doing. You could tell that you had fun doing that, right? So talk to me a little bit about where that desire and aspiration came from before we get into, like, you know, the other boss
The boss movements.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was modeling, kind of just, it's like, in a way, it kind of fell into my lap, but also okay, let me just tell you the backstory because there's so much. Okay, so I remember, you know, I'm 5'8". And so at the time when I was like maybe 12, 13 years old, I was already about 5'5", 5'6", where everyone else around me was still 5'1", 5'2", because we're young, we're kids. But I was always super tall.
Right.
And so I was always super tall, and then I was very slim. So I remember one time, and I had to, you know, these stories don't really happen like they used to, but back then, my mom and I, we were in the mall, and someone came up to us and said, like, I think your daughter, she's tall, she looked like, would you ever think to consider her being a model? And at the time, my mom, you know, she being a Nigerian mother, she's like, no, like my daughter could never be, like, that's not what, you know, we're here for.
That's not what we do.
You know, that's not what we do. But then shortly after, I was at my aunt's house, and I remember seeing Tomiko, and she was a famous model back then, Tomiko, and she was like one of the first African-American models and just like working models that I saw on TV. And we were just looking at her, and I'm like, wow, this lady is everything that I see I can be. I even feel like we have the same bone structure.
Yeah.
So I asked my mom, I was like, you know, I feel like I could probably do this. And so shortly after, we saw a commercial for a casting that was happening in the local area. And so my mom said, okay, let's go. So I went along with my cousins, and they chose me. And that's literally how it started. So I got signed to, at the time it was called Harmon Agency, but then it switched over to Wilhelmina of PA. And then I started working, and, you know, that's how everything has happened since then.
I know. I love it. It's funny because when I heard you say the mall story, it very much sounds like how I got into it. I was in the mall, and I think somebody approached then my uncle and was like, you know, have you ever thought about getting her into some, you know, print work or modeling? And I am actually tall. I think I'm shrinking now, though, because I'm 5'8". And I know there was a fact that there was a time in my life I was 5'9". Because I remember getting some gigs where it's like you had to be that height.
Yeah.
But the reality is, yes, as you get older, you start to
yeah,
and it's happening, right? But that's amazing. I love that. And I mean, I think that you, looking at all of your body of work, I'm glad that your mom allowed you to do that, because it's very impressive. So you went from modeling, and I remember you wanting to do things in radio and television. And I recall, I can't remember when it was, but I remember when you announced that you got a gig on radio and you were going to be working, and it was going to be in New York. And I know the excitement and the joy you felt. So talk about that transition.
Okay. So I left DC, well, the DMV in 2013, and I moved to New York City literally with a suitcase and $5. The story on just how I got here is still one of those crazy, it sounds like a fictional story, but saw someone looking for a fashion assistant on Twitter, tweaked my resume, submitted it to the person. I spoke to them on a Friday, and they literally said, you have to be in New York City by Monday. And I had no plan. And so I called up the only person that I knew that I literally met on Facebook. that lived in New York City. And I said, hey, I have to come to New York City for a job. Can I come crash at your place? They said, sure. So I lived with them and their family for about 3 months while I worked and saved up money, and then finally was able to move into my own location.
Wow.
But in the midst of, that whole entire, maybe first or second year in New York, I was casted on a TV show. And so I was casted on a TV show called Hustle and Soul. And I did 2 seasons on the show. And then I left because it just got a bit too ratchet for me. And at the end of the day, I'm still Nigerian. So I left the show. And then in 2019, I was approached to do a radio show. And at first, I really wasn't too sure about it because I felt like, I'm used to TV. I'm used to showing my face. I'm used to videos. But then they said this is going to be the first Afrobeats radio show in New York City. And so at that moment, I was sold because we're in New York City, the first Afrobeats radio show in New York City dedicated to just African music. And then I get to interview the stars of Afrobeats from Olamide to Yemi Alade to Tiwa Savage, like the list goes on.
Like, how do you say no to that?
How do you say no to that? And so I joined the team, and it was an amazing 1.5 years. Unfortunately, due to COVID, and radio relies on people in the cars and things of that nature. So because of COVID and just people staying home more, they canceled the show. But I am happy about the experience because it made me really develop my interview skills. It really made me appreciate African music more, because it's one thing when you're just listening to them or you're watching their videos on YouTube, but it's another thing when you're talking about their come up story and you're seeing that they're still super humble because they understand that they're in Africa, they can't walk outside without people running up to them, but they're in a whole new market and they're eager to explode, wherever they may land in America and London, wherever the case may be. And you can just see the humility in them. And it was just an amazing experience. And I'm grateful for the opportunities.
Yeah. One thing that you said that I really loved is like getting to know them behind the music. And, with Africans, it's different. Like when you see celebrities here, it's different. When you go home and see celebrities, there's a different way that we embrace ourselves that is more communal. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, where I can go out to the store, the mall, or, just any random place, a nightclub, and you'll see our people there partying and celebrating with everyone. Now I get it. It's grown and changed and evolved. I haven't been home in 2 years, but it's grown and changed and evolved. But we tend to stay close to each other like that. That village comes along with you. But to see the world embracing it, I think it's fantastic. Amazing. But more so than that, like you said, the interviewing and getting to know them. Probably 2009, I remember one artist, Nigerian artist that I interviewed that just impressed me was Kelly Hansen. Now, I was not a fan of his music. When I sat down and got to know him and interviewed and asked questions, I became a fan of him because I learned so much about the person behind the music. And as Africans and Nigerians, we are so multidimensional because of our culture and expectations and morals and values that are instilled in us, that sometimes those stories really help for you to really get and embrace the people, right? And appreciate their music in a different way. And like you said, I've started to appreciate music even more because of those experiences. And I think it's great that you were able to do that and meet those people, because that goes a long way. So here you are, you're on your journey of, bossness, right? And you're modeling, you're acting, you're now the first host of an all Afrobeats radio show. Like, you say, like, when you hear it, you're always like, oh, but receive your flowers now, okay? Because those are all major accomplishments for you that you should be proud of, because you are paving the way for others to come along and do the same thing. So from there, now we're in COVID. And there are things that you've done along the way that we all notice, because like you look the same. You look just like one, and we all know we're aging. So this is where we get to the part of spill the secrets, right? What are you doing? What have you been doing? And what did you work on over these last 2 years through that transition of not having the show to where we are now?
Okay, so I have been into wellness. I've been into wellness for a very long time. I think my first dabble into wellness was in 2007 when I created a all natural hair oil to help me with like my edges and growing my hair. And so I've always been into just like herbs and oils and essential oils and things of that nature. So when COVID hit, I felt like because it was a health related issue, I really started to develop an interest in how I could combat any illness with just the use of natural remedies. And so I really started to research about, oils and herbs and essential oils and plants and things like that. And what do they do? Because before there was pharmaceuticals and there were scientists, there was nature and there's God, and God developed all that we need. And so we just have to know what we can use it to do. And so when 2020 hit, I started to really take my health seriously. And so I developed a steam that me and my family used to do literally like once a week to be able to combat any illness. Let's say we went out and we want to come home, we'll do a steam. I developed at-home remedies for just like skincare and body oils. But along with, the COVID, I also found out in 2018 that I had developed fibroids. And I don't know if you know about fibroids, but it's a non-cancerous tumors that develop in the uterus. And it can be caused by an imbalance of hormones. Basically, your estrogen levels are way too high, and then they cause the fibroids. That's what the doctors know for now, but it's still not super researched. Let's put it like that. So they feel like they know that's what causes it. But I feel like it's also caused by stress. It's caused by the lack of vitamin D, because most African-American women develop fibroids. And so having the fibroids, and in 2020 hit, I said, you know what, I need to understand how to heal my body. And so with understanding how to heal my body on the inside, I also realized that what I was putting on my skin on the outside also affects your hormones, and it affects, even your how you think and how you process things if you're sniffing the wrong chemicals or if you're putting the wrong chemicals on your skin. So I developed my own skincare and herbal tea line. And I felt as though, my friends and family were loving it. And so I said, you know what, maybe I should put it out there into the world. And so I developed Ubiika Beauty. And I have some of the products here.
So I remember you said, you should put it out into the world. That's the boss move, right? And I remember seeing you on Facebook making your teas and your herbs and talking about a lot of these things and just talking about what you were putting into. And what I really appreciate is that you were thoughtful. A lot of times we don't hear the backstory of like, did you do research? How did you develop this? And you actually would speak to those things. And I think that's important because sometimes people don't understand the research you need to put in to understand how things work well for not just your skin, but your health, and the backstory of what you went through to put out a product line. You didn't just wake up and say, oh, I have a following, let me put out a product. Like, this was intentional.
Exactly.
This was thorough, and this was thoughtful because there were personal things going on with you that I guess encouraged you to do that for yourself and your family. And now you've birthed this product. So let's talk about that. I have purchased some of my products, and I will say that I tend to make sure that I am truly being honest about not just that I'm supporting, but do I really love this and do I see a difference? So it's like paying attention to it. And I will be very honest with you, and I don't think I've told you this directly, but the face scrub, I love it. I'm out of it, so I need to replenish that. But I find that I can sense the difference in maybe other products that I've used that are not all natural, as much as I try to find things like that versus this. So let's talk about the product line you've created and why and what it does. And then I'm going to talk about some of the ones that I've used and my experience from it as well.
Okay, perfect. So along with doing my own research, I knew that I didn't have a certificate necessarily to, confirm and validate. So I actually got with an Eastern medicine doctor, and I worked with her for 3 months to make sure that what I was putting in my products were confirmed by research. So just to make sure that like everyone also knows that besides me just picking the ingredients myself, I was also made sure that it was validated and confirmed by Eastern medicine doctor who has a doctorate in Chinese herbal medicine.
Okay.
So it was very important for me to do that. So my first product that I developed was actually a face elixir. And I know it's a bit bright. So, if you go to my website, ubiikabeauty.com,
I
you'll
have
see
that
everything.
one here.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So this was actually developed because I was getting lots of pimples due to the imbalance of hormones, especially around my menstrual cycle. And so I didn't want an oil that would just sit on my face. So I developed an oil that was able to help with pimples, was able to decrease wrinkles. And so that's probably one of the secrets.
Okay.
Was able to decrease.
I need to use this more.
So you need to use that more. Exactly.
Legal.
So yes, definitely use that more. But and if you have oily skin, it's really light oil, so it shouldn't be oily. But if you do still have oily skin, I would advise to use it at night so that your skin can repair itself and then you wake up and you wash it off.
Yeah.
But that's one of the first products that I developed, and it just helped me with my dark marks. It helped me with wrinkles. It also helped me with acne. But then I realized, I need something for my body. So then I developed the Nourish body line. And this is an amazing body oil that I use that I literally made with 10 different type of herbs.
Wow.
It's an amazing oil. This is one of my best sellers, actually. Everyone loves the body oil. And so I'm actually in talks with someone to possibly get this in stores. So we'll see where that goes. Stay tuned for that.
Yes, I love that.
That's an exclusive.
And you did send me the body oil sample.
I did send you a sample of the body oil. So it's one of the favorites that everyone loves. And so those are the first two products, but then people wanted more. People started asking, do I have a natural face wash? Do I have a body butter? Do I have all these a body scrub? And so I said, you know what? Let me go back to the drawing board.
The demand was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back and talk about like what happened after all of the, the initial buzz. And then now here is, oh my gosh, people want more. What do you do? You're a one-woman show right now. How do you make this happen? So we're going to be right back. You're watching Africa in Demand, your gateway to everything Africa. We'll be right back.
Here's my low heat herbal infusion process. After allowing the herbs to infuse the oil for about 4 hours, I then go ahead and strain it with a coffee filter. Look at that beautiful oil. And then just to make sure all the sediments are out, I then refilter it with a cheesecloth. Next, I add the oils to my bottles and then I package and ship it out. Follow for more.
If you are just joining us, I've been sitting here speaking with the beautiful Miss Sana. We've talked about everything she's been working on, from modeling to fashion to TV, radio, and now to her amazing product line, which I am a fan of. Again, Sana, thanks for joining us. So when we went to commercial, you were talking about, your product line, how you started it, and the buzz that's you've been getting around it. And now people want more. So tell me about the rest of the stuff that you've kind of created. And what I really love is it's all natural, right?
Yes.
Everything is all natural. Okay. So
yes.
Let's continue to talk about some of the other lines that you have.
Definitely. So after creating the face oil and the body oil, people wanted more. People said, I have acne and, I have hyperpigmentation. I'm like, okay, back to the drawing board.
Here we go.
Exactly. So I developed a charcoal and tea tree face oil because there's a lot of people who have acne. So I know that the original oil that I created was for mature skin. So people who had, anti-aging issues, people who had issues with wanting to replenish the lost, nutrients that they feel like they were losing over time, as well as, like I said, the body oil was something that I developed as well for people who have super dry skin, made out of over 10 different herbs. But I needed something for the younger crowd. I needed something for people who still have adult acne. And so I developed a charcoal and tea tree acne wash, as well as an everyday cleanse wash made of natural ingredients. However, and I knew for a fact that I didn't want to develop this, so I developed the ingredients, but I didn't create it in my home because I wanted to make sure that whatever you're going to put on your face that has any type of, whether it's a not a chemical, but more so an active ingredient.
Mhm.
I didn't want to make the mistake of just putting the wrong ingredients inside. And so I actually found an FDA regulated company in Oregon
Okay.
that could develop my facial washes. So everything else I make at home, but my facial washes I get developed in Oregon because it was important to me that I was making sure that, it was regulated. I had the right amount of active ingredients so no one breaks out, because the last thing I need is a sue.
Yeah. We don't want
So
that.
exactly. So the acne wash and the everyday facial wash is created, and the body wash is created by a company in Oregon using the ingredients that I've chosen. But all of the other oils and the herbal teas are made at home.
Okay. That's great. So you mentioned charcoal and
Tea tree.
tea tree. Why
Mhm.
those two particular ingredients?
Because charcoal is a natural ingredient that actually helps to pull oil out of the skin. But not only does it do that, it's one of the things that the hospital gives you if you ever have anything poisonous that you drink or that you eat. They put a whole bunch of charcoal inside of your stomach, because what charcoal does is it pulls anything that's there that should not be there. And so it can also be used for, brushing the teeth. It can also be used for an acne wash. And so what it does is it pulls all of the impurities out of the acne, and then it dries it up. And then you're supposed to replenish it with, a tea tree oil or with whatever oil that you have available. The reason why I chose charcoal was because of that fact, but also the tea tree, because the tea tree is a natural antibacterial and antiviral ingredient that is plant-based. And when you mix the two together, you're literally getting the best of both worlds. So something is actually literally pulling the impurities out of the pores. And then you have the tea tree that then goes in and fights all the bacteria and fights all the infection that's inside of it. So you get 2 for 1. And
Yeah.
then people have been loving it. That's one of my best sellers.
Okay, so like all the stuff she said, clearly you could tell that she did her homework and research. If that didn't let you know she did it, now you do know.
It was very important for me that whatever I was putting out there into the world, it worked. Because a lot of people say natural ingredients, but I like to actually add natural ingredients that are also active. So I have, for example, I have papaya extract in my glow oil. I have lemon extract in my glow oil. I have helichrysum, which is an active ingredient, plant-based, inside of my acne products. And so these ingredients were specifically chosen because of what they actually do. So it's not just, oh, let's just put roses and grass together and just create an oil.
No, just
it's
berries and
what,
juices, all
yeah,
that.
exactly. Like just
Yeah.
berries and juices. Like, no, what are the actual ingredients and what are they doing?
Yeah.
So it was very important for me. And I did a lot of trial and research. I am my own guinea pig. So
Yeah.
I try all the products on myself, and then maybe a friend or two, and then I get everyone's feedback.
Yeah.
And then I could develop something like for example, right now, I'm in the process of developing.
Yeah.
So right now I'm in the process. Oh, my nail. So right now I'm in the process of developing my body butter. And
Nice.
so I'm just testing it out, but my body butter is something that will be coming out soon, because people
Nice.
they were excited about everything else, but everyone loves a body butter. Everyone
Yes.
loves, super
You
soft
cannot
skin.
go wrong with the body butter.
Cannot go
I'm
wrong with the
waiting for
body
your
butter.
scrub. More dad, you actually did send me a sample of a body scrub as well.
Yes,
And,
yes.
I love it. And what I also like about these products, and like I said, I am a fan, is that you could just, like, when you get your order, because you will, the smell, you could tell that it's so natural and so
Mm,
earthy in a good way. Right? When I
yeah.
say that, I don't want it to be like, oh, earthy. No, like I have a
I would
couple that
love
I
to know
like.
what you think about
So
the
this one
oil.
here. So this, how do you say it?
This is called is it the Venus, the vulva oil?
The vulva
Some
oil.
people know it as Yanni, but I chose
Yes,
to say
Yanni.
vulva.
So let's just say that you want to get one. You will enjoy it with your significant other.
Yes. And let me talk briefly about the reason why I developed that. is because
I'm not, at first I was like, what is this? Okay, but
Mhm.
let me try. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. As women age, we start to lose our libido. I mean, it's it's a woman, it's a way of life. And
Very true.
so not only do we start to lose our libido, but we also start to become a bit more dry. And it can be due to so many things, stress in the life, stress by job, children, everyday life. It could be because you're not as active as you were back then. So like, things are drying up. So I wanted to develop an all natural vulva oil, or as other people know it as Yanni oil, where you can help to lubricate your vulva, but you can also have a very pleasant aroma that's coming out that's very edible. So for all
edible.
those who have who partake in that type of activity, but it's oral safe. It helps to lubricate the area. And when things are well lubricated, when things are smelling fresh, then it makes the actual environment just more pleasant. But not only that, I made sure to choose ingredients that also combat bacteria. Mm-hmm. So you're really getting 3 for 1. You're getting a pleasurable experience. Your partner enjoys with what they're doing with you, in that area, but it's also soothing and it's also helps with any bacteria. So
yeah. No, I am. Yes. Get yours. Yes, we will put all of these on the slide. And I mentioned, to you before, I have combination skin. I have very oily skin. And so I've been, for the last year, really trying to be intentional about like, what am I using and finding a product. So I've spent a lot of money on different products, just trying to find like what works for me. What can I use as I am aging to help with fine lines, etc. I am not, most people, if you know me, I am so not a fan of makeup, but we have to wear it sometimes, right? Not that we have to, but we do in certain settings. And so I am a big fan of finding things that work for my skin. So just I can be, right? Like it's like you wear when you have to, but it's not like you have to wear to cover up. And even in my makeup, I look for things that can be as natural as possible that go on my skin to moisturize. And what I really love about this is that you're right. I actually use this at night. We talked about that. And what I find is it does help my skin feel refreshed in the morning because it absorbs into my skin. And so I love it. And one thing that I think is good to do is like when you're starting a new product line is give it a chance. I was the type of person that like, if I don't feel it, I switch like that. But I realized you have to get things and like literally use that line and give it a chance to do what it's supposed to do so you can really see what works for you. And it doesn't mean that you may not have other things you combine, but to really know what like your dailies are, I think it's important. And I watch you actually do like, here's my bare face and here's how I go in and use this. And what I love is that, you created this out of pure love for yourself.
Love. Yeah.
And just wanting to then share what you found that works for you with the world. And I think that's amazing. And that to me is what I call Black girl magic, boss moves, representing the continent. And yes, buy Black. So
yes, please do.
Tell us how people can first find out about your products. Where can they go get it? How can they follow you? And then I'm going to end with one last thing that is going to be putting you on the spot. Nothing bad, but.
Okay. I love a little spotlight. You can definitely check out my line, Ubiika Beauty. And that's UBIIKA beauty.com. And that's where you'll find all of my natural products. As well as herbal teas and some beauty tools. I'm going to be launching some more products this year, so please do check it out. But I'm super excited for all that the products are doing for everyday people, because I do make it with love. And not only do I make it with love, but I also turn on gospel music while I'm creating the products, because I feel as though positive energy and high vibrations can make any product, do what it's supposed to do at the optimal level. And so, some people put crystals and stuff like that inside of their products. I put God's energy and my energy and just my love. So definitely check out ubiikabeauty.com for, all your skincare and herbal tea needs. And also my TikTok. I've been posting wellness tips on TikTok for the last month, and I have a nice followership on there, and I talk about everything from DIY recipes, things that you can do to unclog your sinuses, and people have been loving it. So please do check that out as well. So it's not just, I'm not just the wellness person that just creates the products and then goes back to just, doing whatever with life. it's my lifestyle.
The lifestyle.
So it's a lifestyle change and commitment that I've made to myself, but also to just feel like that is a thing that God has given me to share with the world. Purpose. So it's my purpose. Yeah. But also check me out on social media at Sana Kibz, SanaKibz.
All right. So we got the IG, TikTok, any other platforms that you're on that people should know about or follow. And what else do you have coming up? What is 2022?
Ooh, 2022. Well, you can find me and one thing that a lot of people don't know is besides me having my own business, I actually work in digital marketing. And so one tip that I would say is make sure that your name is the same on all social media channels, every single one. Even if you're not active on it, make sure you solidify your name on there. So I'm actually Sana Kibz on every single social media. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere in between, it's Sana Kibz. And for 2022, I'm possibly moving to LA. So that is something that I'm currently in the works, but I may be moving to LA this year. And I already have some people calling me for certain projects. So we will see where things go. Okay. But yes, that is ultimately my 2022 plan. Also to develop more of my products and, fingers crossed that I finally find a man of my dreams.
Oh, yes. We're putting all of that in prayer for you. 2020.
Amen.
Look, I love when I hear people are moving to LA because that's always been like a spot that's like a future aspiration for me. So yes, when you get there, let me know. And
I will definitely let you know.
At least I know I have multiple places to go and people to know I'm there. Yes. So we wish you like literally all the best of luck in everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Please follow her. All the handles are on the screen for you to see and follow. And now, you ready? I'm going to put you on the spot. So you are going to be the first person on Africa in Demand to actually get a little taste of what I've been working on.
Okay.
So over COVID, quarantine, all of that, I created a card game called the Pigeon Card Game. And I'm going to see how well Miss Sana's pigeon is, and I'm going to ask you now. Here's the thing:
embarrass me.
It's a game because see, it's also about how well I can get you to guess. And
okay. All right, I'm gonna try.
Because you work with music artists and stuff like that. I'm gonna throw some in there that are music related and see if you can figure out the acronym. Now, pigeon is literally just acronyms of pigeon words, and then you have to figure out what it is. So I'm going to start with this one. Can you see it?
Yes.
So this group, they're brothers. They're twins, actually. Mm-hmm. They hail from Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And this is a song that was very popular. People played at weddings. And when they play this at weddings, they say this. This is the hook in the song. Typically, there's a lot of I
know it's P Square, but I'm trying to figure out what.
Yeah, so it's a very popular song over the last 2, 3, 4 years. Where I feel like at weddings, this is gonna be played, and they're gonna say this. And people are dancing on the dance floor. And the mirror is going everywhere. So they say you must do this.
I feel like it's literally on the top of my tongue, but I cannot.
Think about the acronym. It's CMM. You gotta. What do we do at African weddings typically? What's a staple that's gonna happen when you get on the dance floor?
You're gonna dance now.
And when you're dancing, what are they doing?
They're throwing money.
They're throwing money. So.
Oh my Lord. This one is I failed this one.
You failed this one? Okay, I'm gonna move it on. Chop my money.
Oh.
All right, here we go.
Goodness.
Here we go. I'm gonna give you 2 more.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. This one.
People will say I'm not Nigerian now.
Don't worry. People pull my Africa card all the time. Now, I just gave it
Johnny,
away.
just calm now.
Okay, I'll give that one to you.
JJC.
Okay, this one, when someone is just kind of like acting out of pocket and they're coming at you in a way where you're just like, don't don't come at me like that. Make sure what other angle can I take?
When someone's
they're you know, typically adults will say this to kids, like, you better. Okay, what do we have to do to our elders? We have to do what?
respect yourself now.
Respect yourself. Okay, all right. So now I'm gonna stop there and not put you.
Okay, I feel like I gotta redeem myself from the CMM. Give me one more.
I'm gonna give you one more music. I agree. Let's get you to redeem yourself. I have to give you one that I can even get you to guess. You know, because even I can struggle in the music department. So here we go. Let's see. I
can't believe I didn't get that first one. I feel terrible.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna give you this last music one. I have to go into the secret vault to get this.
Okay.
All right. So let me see.
I'm like, I have to redeem myself. Oh, please let me get this one.
Okay, here you go. This is one of the big names. Yeah, I know. I'm coming.
17 letters.
This is one of the big name African artists right now. There, I would say there's a bunch of top ones, but he was dating a girl, I think Igbo girl.
Okay, David O.
Okay, good. You got it. And in this song, he's saying that he wants to guarantee her something. So he's saying that he wants to guarantee her something.
Yes.
And it's part of the hook. He wants to when you want to be certain, you're giving them
assurance.
So what is this?
Okay. Why I can't say the word? Okay,
Look at the acronym.
Okay. I go. Why am I not processing this?
Okay, you got
why is there so many letters?
I
go. Oh my God! Why are there so many letters? I feel like I failed everyone. I don't know why. Why is there so many letters? Assurance.
Yes. So you're. When a woman gives birth, she has a what? She has a what? What does she have?
I haven't given birth, so
I know, but what does she have? She has a
child,
which
a
is
baby.
So that's another word.
I give my baby assurance.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Lord! At least I said that one.
You
At least I said that one.
We will give you half of your Nigerian card. Next time you come back on the show, we'll allow you to redeem.
No, I'll be ready.
Sana, thank you so much for joining me on Africa in Demand. I'm so excited for everything that you're doing. We wish you all of the best. And,
thank you so much.
Just keep us posted and hopefully you'll come back and visit again.
100%.
Make sure you guys follow her. Thanks for watching Africa in Demand. We appreciate you, your gateway to everything Africa. We'll see you next time. Bye. Africa in Demand, your gateway to everything Africa.